Hello, BookTube. It's a beautiful sunny Tuesday, and I tried to make another random shelf tour, and I tried to do a bit of mail. Mail is trickling back into circulation, and I tried to do a shout-out video, a kind of recommendations video, and none of them worked. None of them worked at all, and they went on and on before I even remembered to turn the camera off and call it quits. So I think it's time for me to go. But before I go, I wanted to thank you for another wonderful year, for another year of this weird phenomenon of BookTube, this weird activity that I stumbled into 6 years ago and quickly came to love. An amazing multi-voice conversation with a whole bunch of people, most of whom I'll never meet. Just delightful, mostly delightful. 2022 had negative notes in that course, really strong ones, and all the stronger because they sounded in exactly the register that means the most to me. And that's been hard to shake off, not only going through that and experiencing that, but also the doubt that it engenders that I might go through it with other people. Who am I to know who to trust? The worst elements of YouTube just in general as an experience. I've been reminded, and I have reminded myself in the course of the last 6 months, that that is a tiny fraction of the whole, and that the whole is mostly positive. It was in 2022 that we discovered the Steve streams, for instance, how much fun that is, just to almost as close as we will come to talking directly to each other here in this room. That was entirely positive, and so were lots and lots of other things. I got the privilege of sending out a lot of books this year to a lot of people. Such a fun thing to do, such a fun sight to look over at the mail counter and see a stack of packages ready to go out. That is just very smile-inducing. The wait in line at the post office might not be, but the sight of those packages and knowing the homes they're going to, delightful. Delightful. I impose rule number one on you. You may not send me books, but there is no rule number one for me sending books to you, and that's been a tremendous, tremendous fun. Also, all the emails that I've received all year from people just chatting, talking to me about whatever, asking for advice, just a shoulder to cry on, an ear to bend. All of that has been wonderful. That is all wonderful. And it had no analog in my pre-BookTube life. So every time I come to the end of the year, I'm very, very grateful for it. It was almost purely positive. The experience has been almost purely positive. And I have you to thank for that. So I don't want to make this a long video. I certainly don't want to make it a 20-minute video where I'm reading. I forget that I'm filming, and I just have to turn off the camera and feel a little bit abashed. So instead, I want to keep this nice and short and just thank you. Just thank you. In a way, the many, many, many positive aspects of BookTube meant more in 2022 than they have in other years, because 2022 contrasted them with negative things, and that made the positive things all the more important to go through, all the more wonderful to remember and treasure and all that. So I'm doing that, and I wanted to thank you for that. You're all the reason for that. But I'm already losing control of this video, even as short as it is. So I'm just going to wrap it up and wish you all a happy new year. And thank you once again for this incredible experience. Okay, well that happened without much in the way of wandering off into Latin or staring off into space. So I counted a success. Thank you, BookTube. Goodbye.